Chapter 1. The Boy Who Was Forged. Long before Achilles became a name spoken in fear, he was only a possibility the gods argued over. The sea nymph Thetis knew what the fates had said about her son. Not a warning, something colder, a certainty dressed as choice, a long life, a quiet life, a life that would end without echo, or a short life that would burn so brightly it would outlive the world that birthed it. Thetis did not accept that bargain. Love, in her case, did not soften her, it sharpened her, so she tried to break the rules of death itself. When her son was still small enough to fit in the curve of her arms, she took him far from the noise of the world and descended into a place even gods treated carefully, the river Styx. It did not look like water should look. It did not move like water. It felt less like a river and more like a boundary, something separating existence from everything that came after it. Thetis held her child tightly. Achilles did not understand fear yet. He only knew warmth, breath, the sound of his mother's voice. And then she lowered him. The Styx swallowed him whole. In that moment, the river did not bless him gently. It tested him. It resisted him. It tried to decide what he was allowed to become. Power entered his skin like fire beneath stone. Thetis held on, harder than she had ever held anything in her existence, because she knew, if she let go too soon, the world would take him entirely. If she held too long, the river would claim him. And then, just as quickly as it began, it ended. She pulled him back up. He gasped, not crying, not speaking, just alive in a way that felt wrong, like something had been rewritten. But Thetis's hands, just for a heartbeat longer than they should have lingered, had remained on his heel, and that was the moment the river lost him. Not entirely, not completely, just enough. One place remained untouched by divinity, one small fragment of mortality hidden inside invincibility, a flaw so precise it would not matter for years, until it would matter for everything. She tried to hide him after that, not from monsters, from fate, because prophecy does not chase, it waits. Achilles grew quickly, as if the world itself was impatient with him. He was not like other children. He did not stumble into strength. He absorbed it, as though his body remembered something it had not yet lived. The sea around him often grew restless when he cried. The wind shifted when he laughed. Even before language fully formed in him, the world responded like it recognized something unfinished and dangerous. Thetis saw it and understood she had not prevented destiny. She had only delayed it. So she brought him to the centaur. Chiron did not live like other creatures. He was not wild like the beasts, nor fragile like men. He was something in between, patient, ancient, and unafraid of what the gods created. When Thetis brought Achilles to him, she did not beg. She simply said, "Train him so he survives." Chiron looked at the child for a long time. Then he said, "Survival is not what he was made for." Thetis did not answer, because she already knew, and she left him there anyway. Chiron's training did not feel like education. It felt like shaping. He did not teach Achilles to fight first. He taught him to observe, how a man shifts his weight before he strikes, how fear travels through a line of soldiers like a current, how silence before violence is never empty, it is loaded. Then came the blade, then the spear, then pain, not inflicted cruelly, but introduced like a language Achilles would eventually need to speak fluently. When Achilles failed, Chiron did not comfort him, he corrected him. When Achilles succeeded, Chiron did not praise him. He prepared him for the fact that success would one day mean nothing. There were nights when Chiron made him stand still for hours, simply listening to the forest. "Why?" Achilles once asked. "Because," Chiron said, "you will one day enter a world where everything is loud. If you cannot hear what matters, you will mistake noise for truth." Achilles did not fully understand, but he obeyed, because even then, something inside him recognized that obedience was not weakness. It was preparation. And then there was Patroclus. Patroclus arrived, not like destiny, but like interruption. He was not stronger than Achilles, not faster, not sharper, but he watched him without fear, and that alone made him different. At first, Achilles ignored him. He had learned that attention was a currency that should be spent carefully, but Patroclus kept appearing, kept speaking, kept existing in the space Achilles thought should belong only to discipline and silence. One evening, after training, Achilles sat alone with his spear. Patroclus sat beside him. "You never get tired?" Patroclus asked. Achilles didn't look up. "No." "That sounds lonely," Patroclus said. That made Achilles pause, because it was not a question about strength, it was a question about cost. For the first time, Achilles did not answer immediately. "I don't know what else there is," he finally said. Patroclus nodded like that made sense, and then quietly he said, "Then I'll stay until you find out." Achilles did not respond, but he did not tell him to leave either. That was how it began, not with prophecy, not with war, but with a boy who was made to be invincible, and the only person who ever made him wonder what invincibility was for.